Back to Modern Randy. I am Randy, and today this is going to be my last video before the RC and DC that I am qualified for. Me and Dakota, aka Crawdaddy23, are going to be driving down together to DC to hopefully get first and second place is the ideal goal. Realistically, we're shooting for like top 64. We're both trying to get onto the Pro Tour. Today I'm going over the deck that I'm going to take and what I think is a well-positioned deck to take to this type of tournament. As always, guys, if you like what I'm doing, you like what you're seeing, go ahead and leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think is going to be the deck that takes down the RC and DC. So, without any further ado, this is the deck I'm taking. It is the Rakdos Prowess deck that has been running around. I've made a couple different changes, a couple different sideboard choices of myself. But this is a deck I pretty much have been playing a lot of. I've gotten multiple 5-0s multiple 5-0s with multiple 5-0s in the leagues. I've done a lot of different testing with different players, things like that, and it's just felt good. The deck gets to punish pretty much anyone if they misstep, right? This deck is a big thing about being able to punish. If you misstep, you miss your land drop, you miss you don't have the removal spell in time, you don't have the counter spell in time, you don't have whatever. This deck is going to punish you for missing that, and that's kind of why I like this deck. Is it gets to prey on variance as well as just being a very strong deck as a whole. So, quickly going over the mana base, nothing too special. You know, I'm running the 4 Black Cleave Puss, 4 Blood Crypts, and 4 Sulphur Springs, along with 2 basic mountains, 2 Rounding Up Ruins, 1 Silkazon, and then 2 Den of the Bugbear. Then, getting to the main part of the deck, I am running 4 Kamanos because the card is amazing, great 1-drop. Back half is super relevant. Being able to pump your creatures also really good, especially with like Heartfire Hero, being able to make it a 2-power immediately. Getting your X2s out of range of the bolts or the shocks that are running around, making X3s is super good when you're on the play. Then of course we're running 4 Heartfire Hero. Card's amazing. You get to throw at your opponent, deal double damage. It's a card that has to be answered. When they answer it, it still does damage to them. It's just a great little 1-drop. If this card had haste, that would be the only thing that makes it better, honestly. Of course, we're running 4 Monastery Swiftspears. I don't really need to talk about why this card's good. Ever since this got printed in cons, it has been a staple in red decks, no matter the format. Then we have 4 Slickshot Show Off, pretty much the deck that revived aggro. Whether it's Legacy, or not Legacy, but whether it's Modern or Pioneer, or even Standard, this card has just been dominating and doing well. I can't speak more highly of this card. Honestly, the worst part about this card is the fact that it's an X2 and doesn't ever get its button bigger. That's really the only problem. And then, of course, we're running 4 Emberheart Challenger, another new mouse out of Bloomberg set, Haste, Prowess, and then when it gets targeted, you get to reveal the top card of the library and get to play that card till your end of your turn. Sorry. Awesome card, great to have. Notably, once you target it, that ability goes on a stat, so even if they go Fatal Push in response, you still get that top card of your library. So if it's another creature, you get to play a creature still this turn. If it's a pump spell and you have another creature on the field, you can still pump up that creature. Just things like that. So really good about that. Just a super good card. And then the Callous Sellsword, kind of the card that made this into the red-black deck with that burn together. Being able to sacrifice a creature we control, deal damage to any target. Just super good. Or sorry, target creature you control deals damage equals to its power to any other target, then you sacrifice it. So it is important that you sacrifice it afterwards. So if you're throwing like Slickshot Show Off, it does get it like its prowess trigger, so it gets 2 more power. Same thing with Swiftspear or Emberheart or like the hero, they all get their abilities first and then you throw it. So it is really good there. Plus it's a creature on the back half, so you do just cast this guy sometimes as a creature. He's not the best creature, but he is an additional spell and creature at the same time. Super good. So then we're also playing 4 Titan Strength, +3/+1 to end turn Scry, instant, great card, super powerful. The +1 comes up way more than you think with this deck. I've blown out a lot of players when they go to kill my creature, thinking they have the deal 3 damage spell, and then you're like, all right, cool. If they play a spell, it's gonna get +1. That's still gonna be 3. And it's like, cool. Titan Strength gets +1 from Prowess, and then another +1 from Titan Strength. Super good blowout card, super good damage card, as well as it lets us scry and kind of fix our top of the deck. Same thing with Ancestral Anger. We're playing this because it gives trample as the main thing and draws a card. Plus it gives +1. Sometimes it gives more than +1. That's always cool when that happens. Monstrous Rage. I don't really need to talk about why this card's good. This card's been seeing play since it's been printed. Yeah, it's just a solid card. Being able to give your creature trample, give it a +1/+1, and give it +2/+2 until end of turn. just overall great. We are playing two new cards, the Turn Inside Out. I'm playing these. I don't think this is better than Titan Strength because that +1 comes up a lot, but being able to our creature +3/+0 center turn, and then when it dies, we get to Manifest Dread, so that you get to look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one on the battlefield face down, and then you can turn it up. You can turn it up at any time as if it's a creature. So like if you put like a Slick Shot down, you can flip it up into a Slick Shot. Really good there. Lets us help keep bad cards off the top of the deck. So if, when you're drawing into 2 lands, it's really cool. You can put one of those down and not have to worry about it. Just a good card. I don't think it's better than Titan Strength, but I think it's worth playing, which is why I'm playing 2 of them. And I've kind of liked it at that, like 2 slot. And then we are playing 3 Fatal Push. I think that Fatal Push is just the best removal this deck can play as a whole. That's why I'm playing 3 of them. I also think that some of the biggest decks in the format, or what's going to be in the room for DC, is going to be this deck. I think that Phoenix is also going to be really big in the room. I don't think Phoenix is super well positioned, but I think there's a lot of people who like Phoenix, who know Phoenix, who can play it relatively well, and I think they're going to take Phoenix. So this is good against Phoenix, being able to kill their Ledger Shredder and Thing in the Ice that they've been starting to play in the sideboard. Good to have. And then just being able to kill our opponents, Heroes, Challenger, Slick Shots, would not have to worry, right? Like, oh, you gave it, you give me it a million, great. Fatal Push still kills it. Doesn't matter. And then I'm running one of Claim to Fame in the sideboard, in the main board. Wrong thing. So Claim to Fame is one of those cards where I really like it, but there is a lot of exile removal running around, and Claim sometimes is just like sit dead in your hand because they haven't killed a creature, or they exiled your creature when they killed it. It just kind of sits dead because you can't ever cast that Fame part until you've casted Claim, so it does kind of sit dead in your hand a lot of times. That's why I'm down to just 1 in the main here. But this is the 60 I plan to take for sure to DC. There is a couple things I'm working on the sideboard, but as it sits right now, this is what I'm going to take as my 15 for DC. And I'm pretty much set on it. I don't think I'm going to change anything too much. We are playing Jegantha because we're a Jegantha deck, because why wouldn't we? Playing 2 Magebane Lizards. Now, a lot of the lists I see don't play this. This is solely because I think that Phoenix is going to be a big deck going into the tournament. Like I said, I don't think Phoenix is necessarily well positioned, but I think it's going to be a large meta share of the game. I could be wrong. I also like this against some of the spell-based combo decks. It's good against Lotus Field, things like that. So it's not just dead in my sideboard if I don't see a Phoenix matchup the whole time. But I do think that it's going to. I think Phoenix is still going to get played a lot, despite it not being like the best deck in the format. And even MTG Goldfish has it, I think, in the top 5 of decks still, and I think it's still going to be one of the top 5 decks at DC because it's just a very popular deck. It wasn't a deck that got hit by the bans at all, and I think it still can just do Phoenix things. Like, Phoenix isn't really out of the game. So I think that we're going to see more Phoenix than what we did at Brazil for sure. And so that's why I'm playing, 2 Magebane Lizards. I'm also running 2 Nixilis the Adversary. It's a great card against the control deck. They kind of have a harder time removing Planeswalkers. Great against all the mid-range strategies running around. Just helps to grind through them. They're losing 2 life or they're losing cards. Either way, that's good for us. Same thing with the Urbrass's Forge. This is a newer one. I haven't really played a lot with it, but I get the idea behind it. It's good against Control. Control is one of the top 5 decks in the format right now. Same thing with it. Also good against all the aggro or all the removal you're expected to see in the format, because we know people are gunning for this deck. So not too surprising to have, something that is, 1, harder to interact with because it's an artifact, and 2, continuously makes a more powerful creature every turn. I'm running the 4th Fatal Push and 1 Chandra's Defeat for the mirror. Really there just so that way I have more removal. Fatal Push makes perfect sense. The Chandra's Defeat is just because I expect this deck to be one of the biggest decks in the format. Or it's not in the format, but in the room, I expect this to probably be the most popular deck in the room. So I'm expecting to run into mirror matches, and that's kind of why the Chandra's Defeat's here. 2 Feed the Swarm is here for the Transmogrify decks that have been running around. You need a way to answer the Atraxa, and this way you can answer Atraxa very easily. It's also very good against Control, and the enigmatic decks that are running around, all their enchantments and stuff, being able to answer those, things like that. Just kind of good overall as removal. I'm only playing 3 Thoughtseize. I think 4 is a little too much. as a whole, but they're good against, transmogrified decks, any of the combo decks running around. You can bring them in against blue-white control as well, just things like that. And then one Hazoret is also in here, a good against the mid-range grind decks. It's really hard to answer. He's an indestructible creature, things like that. Just kind of like an overall answer to people's removal. But this is what I'm taking to the RC and DC. This is what I'm hopefully going to be taking first with. Obviously, that's, a pipe train to spike an RC like this. But this is what I think is well positioned. I think that it is going to be one of the biggest decks in the room, and I think that it's probably one of the best decks to take as a whole. It gets to punish your opponents when they misstep, and that's huge in a game, in an open field like this. It's going to be open deck list too, in case anybody's unaware, so it's not like having anything's going to be a secret to anybody. I can't, putting in like, some miser cards isn't going to be like, oh, they're never going to see this coming. Like they're going to see it coming. They read the deck list. But this is what I think is going to be good going into DC. I think this is what is probably going to end up taking down the tournament or coming close to it, whether it's me or some other player. But this is just a solid deck in my opinion, and this is what I'm taking. As always, guys, if you like what you're seeing and you want to see more of what I'm doing, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you guys think is going to take down DC, and I'll catch you guys next time.